First, I gotta say, man, thanks for doing this interview. Thanks for doing it here at Toronto City Hall. But more importantly, thank you for that tweet you sent me the other day that I sent you, man, when I asked you about the new single, the video, and the whole Star Trek theme. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I still want to say thanks for tweeting back.
Yeah, man, I love getting those tweets because it just kind of lets me say, yeah, it's weird and it's on purpose, and I still kind of take myself seriously, but I'm trying to be different, so it's cool that people are noticing like you.
You are definitely different, man. What is it about you? I mean, with the country music scene and everything else going on, I mean, you're rocking it, okay? But you're doing things different, and you're bringing out another side of the country I haven't seen in a long, long time. What is this?
Oh, thanks, man. Well, I feel like from an indie background, there was a lot of times where didn't have people controlling really or telling me what I should be doing or what's the safe thing or what's the right thing to do. So in country music, looking at the landscape of branding, there's just a lot of people doing kind of what you do in country music. And for me, I wanted to stand out as a new indie artist. I wanted to do something different. And a big part of what I do on stage is just kind of like this lighthearted, good times country music. So that's what I'm trying to get across in the video, just not taking myself too seriously, having some fun with my friends, and making it so I stand out a little bit on CMT.
Okay, but you haven't done, look, you did a Moose outfit before, man.
Yeah, so the first video was out of necessity because the song is blowing up. The song is called Found. And I sat with one of my good friends who's the director of all three videos, and he's like, okay, we got to get you something. I don't know what we're going to do, but we got to figure out something cheap. So after a long silence, all he came up with was the word mascot costumes on a piece of paper. So literally, we went out, got the mascot costumes, didn't really have a plot, and just kind of started shooting, and we got a couple friends in the video, and eventually it kind of became something, and we were all laughing at how stupid it was, and we looked up, and it's the top 20 on CMT, so that was a good kickoff. And then the second video, we wanted to one-up ourselves, had a slightly bigger budget.
Yeah, I would say so if you're going to be flying to certain places.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't crazy. Like, it was still pretty much, we all just did it for the trip and for the experience and to say we did it. And so we went to Japan, dressed me up like halfway between Elton John and John Wayne, and just plopped me in the middle of Tokyo and just kind of watched what happened.
Oh my God, I saw both videos. I couldn't stop laughing. I thought they were amazing. But I want to go back in the beginning and, where you grew up and the love of country music, or just the music in general, where that all came from.
Well, I've been doing music for a long time, actually. It's weird to me being known as like a new guy, a new face in country, because I've been in music for over 13 years now. But I was in a rock band in Edmonton called Tupelo Honey for almost a decade, and we had some great successes touring with bands like Bon Jovi and Theory of a Dead Man and Papa Roach and Metric and Billy Talent, and we had a lot of top 40s and top 10s and things like that. So that was kind of my background, getting into this as an indie musician. And then getting into country, it was more just a switch, a transition to focus on more songs and more sort of the natural parts of my writing. Being from Alberta, it's hard to get away from country music. It's sort of ingrained in us, right? So I've always watered that part of me down, and then now I can kind of just open it up, focus on songs and connecting with people, and instead of trying to be cool and eating chocolate milk and pepperoni and sleeping in the bottom of a van for 20 hours at a time. So it's
well, here's the thing. I mean, you do these great videos, but are the stories important for you in your songs?
Yeah, I think so. It's like, I'm not a hardcore story guy like a guy like Eric Church or somebody might be, but for me it's really finding those common themes that people can really relate to. Like Found was the song that hit the biggest so far, and that one was more or less just a drunken proposal song. It's really embracing that moment, and I find for me writing about those moments has been the big hit for me. It feels right. So with Say We Did, that's what we were trying to do, the new single. We were just trying to figure out that sort of carefree summer, throw caution to the wind kind of thing where we'll think about it later. Let's just dive in and make some memories.
Okay, so why don't you describe for fans exactly what this video is, because, again, I think it's brilliant.
Well, I am a professional man-child, so I decided we're big Star Trek nerds, me and the directors, and we decided we were going to build the entire bridge of the Starship Enterprise out of cardboard in my garage. And
so it is your garage?
Yeah, it's really my garage out in St. Albert, Alberta. So the neighbors are pretty sure I'm a crazy person, and they're not exactly sure what I do for a living, but they think it looks fun. And so, it's cool. We had a lot of great musicians and people in the video, and we shot a day at my house, and I got my daughters to make a cameo in the video, which is really cool. And and then we shot a day down in Drumheller, which kind of looks like the surface of the moon. It's sort of the Badlands, but it was a blast. We did a Star Trek spoof, and it was low budget, but there's jokes every 5 seconds, so I think it's something that people really dig into.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out. Okay, so there's a Borg in it. Is there a Vulcan? Because I kept trying to look to see if there was one.
There was, but it was an afterthought. So the Borg was the enemy, and we had actually one of the Borg was CCMA award winner and North American fiddle champion Tyler Vollrath.
You're kidding!
And he was actually in the Found video. He was the purple dragon in the Found video. So there you go. We don't even show his face, but he's like one of Canada's best musicians.
Oh my goodness! Look, you're setting a sort of a different trend to country music. Country music right now, especially with Canadian artists, is just exploding. What do you hope yourself personally, musically, and maybe even through these videos? What do you hope to bring to country music in Canada?
Just a different interpretation. Like, I don't really feel like I have a solid enough base that's influenced me to write a certain way. Like, I feel like pretty spread out, and I try not to be overly influenced by anything. So I'm really want my position to be that it's different and it's a cool take, still traditional, but also pushing the envelope.
Okay, so what's going to happen now, album-wise, EP-wise, and tour-wise? What's going to happen?
Yeah, well, this summer's been crazy for tour dates. We've done a lot with like Brett Kissel and the Roadhammers and James Barker Band and Rivertown Saints and a lot of really, really cool artists. So we're just firming up the fall tour right now. Kind of the big focus is pushing into CCMAs.
I was just about to ask you about that. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so, well, CCMAs been nominated for Rising Star, which is huge for me. I'm in really great company with James Barker and Megan Patrick and JoJo Mason, Aaron Goodwin. So super tough category, and also Clayton Bellamy and I were nominated for Songwriters of the Year for Found, which is that is just like, that's crazy for me. That's a career milestone for sure. But we're up against Dean Brody, Time, and Brett Kissel and Jessica Mitchell and some real heavies. So it's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, so you're heading up to Saskatoon, man. So what's the plan for this too? I mean, country music artists are just all like, they'll be like, hey, you know what? I won, but here, I'll give you the award kind of thing. Everybody's so friendly. Well, what do you think is going to be happening when you get down there, man?
A lot of that. For me, it's what's so cool about country is it's so not competitive. Everyone just wants to hang and be buddies, and so that's what I most look forward to when I go to those things, is just really getting to connect more with people that I'll see along the way. But if I can snag an award or two while I'm there, that could be a little extra goodness.
That always works. Website, Twitter, all that social media stuff. Where do we go?
DanDavidsonMusic.com for pretty much everything, but you can also catch me Facebook at Dan Davidson Music, and everything else is at It's Dan Davidson.
Hey man, look, glad that we are Twitter buddies. Glad that we did this interview. Congratulations on the nominations, and congratulations on the new single.
Thanks so much, man. It's been a pleasure to hang out.